Listen, every single one of us has been there. It's the final boss. It's the clutch three-pointer. It's the perfect narrative moment in a 100-hour RPG. And then reality strikes. I need the TV. For decades, that sentence meant game over. It meant the shackles were back on. You were chained to that one glorious, expensive screen in your house. But the world changed. Sony introduced a secret weapon, a Trojan horse called PlayStation Remote Play, a tool that promised to sever the HDMI cord forever, to give you true, untethered gaming freedom anywhere on the planet. But here's the cold, hard question that 99% of people get wrong. Is remote play actually freedom, or is it just a laggy, pixelated prison cell disguised as liberation? We're not going to watch a 5-minute setup guide today. We're not here for an unboxing. We're diving into the unvarnished, 30-minute truth. The hacks, the hidden settings, the network terror, and the one piece of hardware that has everyone questioning their reality, the PlayStation Portal. By the time this video ends, you will know how to get your remote play setup from unplayable to unstoppable. B. The definitive answer to whether the PS Portal is genius or a gimmick. C. The secret network settings that can slash your latency in half. This isn't just a feature breakdown. This is the blueprint for true PlayStation freedom. Stick around, because the truth about your latency is about to be revealed. Let's dismantle the biggest myth immediately. Remote play is not the same as playing locally. You are asking your PlayStation, which is essentially a supercomputer, to capture a 4K, 60 FPS video stream. Compress it instantly, fire it across your home network or the internet, have your device decode it, and then send your button press back to the console, all within milliseconds. It's a miracle of engineering, but it's fragile. Most users fail before they even start because they blame Sony when the real culprit is sitting right under their nose. Your network. Remote play is not a gaming feature. It's a networking feature. The first, non-negotiable step to maximizing your experience is to understand the hierarchy of connection. Wired is God tier. If your PS5 is connected to your router via an Ethernet cable, you've already won half the battle. If it's on Wi-Fi, you're introducing unnecessary jitter and packet loss right at the source. This is non-negotiable. 5 GHz is necessary, but not a cure-all. Your phone or portal must be on a 5 GHz Wi-Fi band. It offers higher speed and less interference. But here's the trick. Many modern routers use band steering, which automatically bumps you to 2.4 GHz if the signal strength drops slightly. You need to manually separate your 5 GHz and 2.4 GHz networks in your router settings. Name them differently, like Home 5G and Home 2G. Always connect remote play to the 5G one. The proximity problem, even a fast 5 GHz signal dies through walls. If you're trying to stream in the basement and your router is upstairs, you're fighting physics. The only solution? Mesh Wi-Fi or a dedicated access point. We'll discuss the advanced setup later, but for now, understand this. The quality of remote play is a reflection of the distance between you and your router. If you take nothing else from this segment, take this, plug in your console. That single act changes everything. Now for the elephant in the room. The piece of hardware that single-handedly revitalized the conversation. The PlayStation Portal. When it launched, the internet was polarized. Half called it a brilliant, dedicated solution. The other half called it an expensive Wi-Fi screen, a glorified tablet locked to a single function. Here's the argument for and against, rooted in performance, not hype. The case for the Portal, the feel factor. The Portal isn't about specs, it's about immersion. It uses the full DualSense controller architecture. Haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, the whole 9 yards. This is crucial because it's the only way to replicate the feel of playing on a PS5. When you're gripping your Portal, you forget you're streaming. You just feel the controller. The 8-inch LCD screen is vibrant, and the shape of the device is designed for long session comfort. It's a dedicated, zero-friction experience. No clipping, no biting, no notifications. Just wake up and play. That seamlessness is the Portal's killer app. The case against the Portal, the flexibility factor, its biggies. T-strength is also its biggest weakness. it does one thing. It cannot stream from the cloud. It cannot browse YouTube. It cannot run native games. And here's the real kicker. It offers no performance advantage over a flagship phone. If your home Wi-Fi is terrible, the Portal will still deliver a terrible stream. This is where the phone/tablet setup reigns supreme. Using a device like a Backbone or a Razer Kishi with your phone gives you versatility. You can use third-party apps like PS Play, which often offer more advanced settings than Sony's native app, like bitrate control and display tweaks. You can be on an entirely different continent, connected to public Wi-Fi, and still pull a decent stream. The phone setup is the power user's choice. The verdict for the average gamer. If you primarily game within your home and value instant, authentic dual-sense immersion, the Portal is worth the premium. It removes all the tech headaches. If you travel constantly or want more control over the stream quality, your phone with a great controller clip is the smarter, more flexible option. All right, we've stabilized the network and picked our hardware. Now we fine-tune the source. This is where most tutorials fail. They tell you to enable remote play and stop. We're going deeper. We're going into the system files. Optimization hack 1. Power settings, the 24/7 rule. Remote play is easiest when the console is in rest mode. But you must ensure your PS5 is actually ready to stream in rest mode. Go to Settings, System, Power Saving, Features Available in rest mode. You must check Stay Connected to the Internet. Obvious, but often missed. The critical, often overlooked setting. Enable turning on PS5 from network. If this is unchecked, you'll have to manually turn on your console before leaving the house, defeating the purpose of remote play. Optimization hack 2. Video settings, the resolution trap. The remote play app gives you 4 settings: 360p, 540p, 720p, and 1080p. 1080p is a lie of convenience. You should only select 1080p if you are hardwired into a premium gigabit connection and your streaming device is within 2 meters of the router. 1080p requires a massive, consistent bandwidth. The PS5 defaults to 60 FPS, which stresses the system further. The sweet spot is 720p high quality. Why? Because 720p at 60 FPS, with a low latency, stable connection, feels better than a laggy, stuttering 1080p. Prioritize frame rate and stability over resolution. Your 8-inch screen won't notice the difference in resolution as much as it will notice a dropped frame. Optimization hack 3. The dedicated user, the streamer profile. This is a pro gamer move. Create a secondary PSN user profile exclusively for remote play. When the remote play session is active, the PS5's main user is logged out. This can disrupt downloads, uploads, or background processes running on your primary profile. By using a dedicated remote profile, you isolate the streaming process. This ensures your main profile's activity doesn't interfere with the stream, and critically, it keeps your main gaming history and trophies clean from any accidental remote sessions. Optimization hack 4. Background processes ensure all background downloads and uploads are paused or completed before you start streaming. A PS5 trying to download a 50 gigabytes game while simultaneously encoding a stream is the definition of a bottleneck. Always check your downloads/uploads queue before entering rest mode. If you thought part 1 was about networking, think again. This is where we engage in the network boss battle. We're talking about settings that live deep inside your router, the ones you've likely never touched. This is for the ultimate lag-free experience. Stage 1. Disabling UPnP, the security risk. Universal Plug and Play, or UPnP, is what allows devices like your PS5 to automatically open ports on your router. It's convenient, but it's a security risk, and, more importantly, it's inefficient. UPnP can time out, causing sudden connection drops. We disable it. Stage 2. Manual port forwarding, the direct line. Since we disabled UPnP, we need to manually open a direct lane for the PS5's remote play traffic. This is critical for reliable outside-the-home streaming. You need to forward the following ports to your PS5's static IP address. TCP port 9295, UDP ports 9296 and 9297. This is like giving your remote play packets an express toll lane right to the console, bypassing all T. Slow local traffic. Stage 3. The QoS strategy, quality of service. This is the ultimate secret weapon. Quality of service, or QoS, allows you to prioritize traffic. Think of your Wi-Fi as a highway. Without QoS, your Netflix stream, your roommate's YouTube video, and your remote play stream are all bumper to bumper. With QoS, we tell the router, the PS5 gets the fast lane. Go into your router settings and look for QoS, priority, or traffic management. You need to set the PS5's MAC address or static IP to a high priority or gaming priority level. If your router is advanced enough, you can specifically prioritize the UDP ports we just forwarded. The golden rule of advanced setup. Every router interface is different. You may have to Google QoS setup on your router brand. But taking the time to set a static IP for your PS5 and manually prioritizing its traffic is the single greatest performance increase you can achieve outside of buying a new router. You are guaranteeing bandwidth. We've covered the network, the settings, and the alternatives. Let's dedicate a final segment to the hardware that matters most right now, the PlayStation Portal. After months of use, what's the final, long-term verdict? The Portal is not a piece of technology. It is a change in behavior. Before the Portal, remote play was a compromise. You were trading comfort for convenience. You were clipping an awkward phone to a controller, dealing with screen size issues, and often settling for a less-than-ideal grip. The Portal eliminates the compromise. It's the closest you will ever come to a PS5 experience without the PS5. The fact that the DualSense features are perfectly replicated is the single point that outweighs every single criticism about its price or its lack of Bluetooth audio. But we have to be real about its limitations. The internet blind spot. If you take it to a friend's house and their Wi-Fi is 10 megabits per second down, you'll have a worse experience than you would with your phone. The Portal's success is entirely dependent on two things: the upload speed of your home internet and the download speed of the remote internet. The absence of cloud, the lack of PlayStation Plus streaming, the fact you can't use it to play hundreds of games without a PS5 at all is Sony's biggest missed opportunity. It relegates the device to a companion, not a competitor to devices like the Nintendo Switch. Final take. The Portal is the definitive in-home streaming device. It is a luxurious, high-end peripheral that solves the TV dispute perfectly. But if you are a constant traveler, you should wait for the next iteration that hopefully unlocks more internet versatility. For the US audience, with their large homes and typically robust network gear, the Portal is a revolutionary piece of comfort tech, provided they follow our advanced network setup steps. We started this journey by asking if remote play was freedom or prison. And the answer is complex. It's whatever you make it. Without optimization, it's a frustrating, stuttering mess that will turn you off gaming forever. But with the right setup, the shackles are off. You have the power to game when you want, where you want, without sacrificing the core feel of the PlayStation 5. To recap the 3 essential takeaways. Hardwire the PS5. Non-negotiable stability. Plug it in. Prioritize 5 GHz. Separate your Wi-Fi bands and force your streaming device onto the fast one. Use QoS. Go into your router and tell it. The PlayStation is priority number 1. The future of gaming is untethered. It is convenient. It is fluid. You no longer have to quit that raid or pause that story because someone else wants the TV. You have the blueprint. The freedom is now in your hands. If this deep dive saved your gaming session from the dreaded lag monster, hit that like button. We're building a community of network-savvy gamers, and your subscription helps us fight the good fight against latency.